on average, just in the United States, about 220 people die every single day from an opiate overdose. And by the time we finish this show, 8 to 10 people are going to die from an opiate overdose. If we get even one person, one viewer with this program that we might be able to help with some of the information that's shared on here, then it's all worth it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dare Me podcast. Peace, it's your old pal, Glenn Victor, coming to you live from Sacramento, California. We want to say hello to all our friends here on the West Coast, where it's 6 o'clock p.m., and then, of course, to all our friends on the East Coast, where it's 9 o'clock p.m., and our old pal, Dean Baker at Post Effects Digital Productions is live from Central Florida in Orlando. What's happening, Dean?
Good evening.
Yeah, man. Glad we're back again. Episode 11. Blows my mind. I know. Where does the time go, Dean? Of the Dare Me podcast. Today is May 28th, 2023. And we want to say Happy Memorial Day weekend. I've always felt weird saying Happy Memorial Day because, you know, it's a holiday that is kind of meant to honor those fallen military heroes. So it's just kind of a weird thing to say when you think about it. But nonetheless, hope everyone is having a great Memorial holiday weekend. I was thinking to myself, we may have limited interaction with the show this week, Dean, being that it is a holiday weekend and all. You know, most people do have tomorrow off, and, of course, a lot of people go out of town for the weekend. In fact, I know a lot of people that are out of town this weekend. But, hey, we're doing the show nonetheless, and, Dean, I appreciate you working with me on a holiday weekend here. You know, I do see we already have a couple of viewers, so maybe we'll get more interaction than I thought we might. And, of course, although we go live, as I often say, and is the case, you know, we get most of our viewers and listeners from the recorded version of the show because it does get posted on our Dare Me Facebook page, our Dare Me YouTube channel. We are live right now on... gosh, I don't even know. What is it, Dean? Like 4 different Facebook pages. I think at least 3 different YouTube channels. We're live on Twitter. We're live on LinkedIn. So, you know, we get a good reach, you know. And, you know, not to get too much into it again, but I read these analytics, and it just blows my mind, the reach we're getting. You know, I talked about it a little bit last week on the show that we're not just national, but international, man. We're getting feedback from people in Canada, over in London, Romania, South America. It just blows my mind that, you know, we're getting such a reach. And, you know, it reminds me that we're on the right path with this program and doing all the right things. And we got a fun show lined up for you today. I'd like to say thank you to Dennis Salvaggio, who was our guest last week. Just once again, we thanked him tremendously last week, but I want to thank him again for being really our first high-profile guest last week. And we had a great show, man. If you didn't get a chance to watch that one, go back and check it out. You know, we were on for about 2.5 hours, and what a great interview he is. Just has so many fascinating stories, and he's an old friend and colleague of mine and Dean's, going back a long, long time, and that was a good show. So, you know, we got some more high-profile guests coming up. I was talking with that boy Angel Hill, or chatting back and forth with him in DMs, and he definitely said he's going to be on the program. I think he might have forgotten that he had the songwriters workshop this weekend with that boy Kasky and Anonymous and all them guys, because he was flirting around about being on the show this week, but then he kind of went MIA on me for a minute, and so I think he forgot he had that commitment. So hopefully maybe we'll get him on next week or real soon anyway. And if you don't know who Angel Hill is, man, we're going to talk about him in a little bit here. In fact, I even got a pick, I think, lined up for him today. But anyhow, with all that said, just Dean, I'm going to go right into kind of recapping the purpose of this show. I know you got your hands full behind the scenes again this week. I sent Dean y'all a shit ton of pictures. We got some videos we're going to show today. We got a few different videos. It was a very exciting week for your old pal Glenn Victor, and we're going to talk about some of that stuff. And Dean's definitely got his hands full juggling some stuff behind the scenes this week. So, Dean, appreciate that. But let me go into our recap of the purpose of this program, which I try to do every single week, kind of sort of right out of the gate. And as the acronym for this program indicates, Dare Me, and if you look at all those hashtags under the name Dare Me, that's what this program is about. Drugs, addiction, recovery, enlightenment, music, which we're going to spend a lot of time talking about today, and exercise, fitness. And if you're a person who may be struggling with drug addiction, opiate addiction specifically, but really any drug, this program is geared toward you. And thanks, Dean, for putting up those hashtags. There they are, right across the top of the screen. That name, Dare Me, it has a lot of meanings behind it. It was kind of sort of like when I first did this program. I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm going to put myself out there like this, like they say, coming out of the closet with this whole addiction struggle I've had most of my life. And then I just got a mindset of fucking dare me to come out and tell my story, because I know there's some old colleagues and friends and co-workers of mine who, probably when they first saw me come out with all this, like, oh God, what has Glenn done? He's lost his fucking mind. And, I really kind of had some, some second guessing of myself and, being self-conscious about it. Not anymore, especially when I, think and talk about some of the things I mentioned earlier, the feedback we've gotten on this show. And the reach we're getting, people reaching out to us. And I see we got several viewers who've jumped on board with us now. So welcome, y'all. We hope you enjoy the show today. So anyway, yeah, y'all, to cut to the chase, I got hooked on opiates and had a horrible addiction to opiates. It all started with pain medication. Not making excuses. I knew better. But I did break my ankle, and they prescribed me opiate pain medication, and I never should have fucking taken it. I had no business taking no narcs. I have a long history with addiction, and I should have known better, and I started taking them. And it just, as I often say, it snowballed out of control and turned into a 9-year run on that shit, y'all. 9 years. I had over 6 years clean again at the time I started taking that shit. And at the end of it all, y'all, I was snorting fucking heroin. Who in the world? I still can't even believe that I got to that point. What had happened was, though, as they say, I couldn't get the pills anymore from time to time sometimes, and I'd get dope sick from withdrawals. And, I'd had connections then, and by that time, y'all, it was a thing with the dope man where it was like, hey, man, we don't have any other good, Glenn, but we got some heroin. At least it's an opiate. It'll hold you over so you're not dope sick until we can get some of the good, some more of the pills, whether it was, Vicodins, Norcos, Oxys, Perks, Demerol, Dilaudid, all that shit. And, yeah, man, I never in a million years would have thought that shit would have got to that point for me. I'm a pretty smart guy when I got my head on straight. I'm an educated man, I know better than to fuck with shit like that. And I did anyways, because I was so sick. That's how bad them opiates had me, y'all. Had me by the balls. And you know what? Yeah, I've been self-conscious about putting myself out there. when I first started this program. And then I just got to the point where, as I've said many times on this show, I just, in my deepest thoughts and alone time, thought, man, I have no right to keep to myself what happened with me and how I was somehow able to miraculously, in my opinion, survive it and come out the other side, because I do have well over 2 years clean now off the opiates. Thank God. And I share my story in hopes that it might help someone else, help a person to get through it. When I was trying to kick, y'all, because I tried for a long time on my own, and I just couldn't fucking do it until I was finally able to accept and ask for help. But I tried for a long time, y'all, and I was looking for information online about how to get through opiate withdrawals, how to kick opiates. I Googled it. I looked on YouTube. There was stuff I was looking at on TikTok and things. And there's, like I often say on here, some good information out there, things we've shared. If you go back and look at some of our previous episodes, the first couple of few talked a lot about some of the information I found out there. I didn't find anything like what we're doing, not like what we're doing with this program. And so my hope, again, is anybody who may be looking for information about how to kick an opiate addiction or any drug addiction, quite frankly, whether it's the booze or anything else, that we might share some things and talk about some things on this program that might help even one person, as I often say, to stay alive even one day longer, help them, help their family, their friends, their colleagues, and whatnot. And we also try to keep the show entertaining for really anybody to enjoy. Our main focus, though, is trying to get to people who may be struggling with an addiction. I know we have a lot of followers, people who are actively involved in the recovery community, have some clean time behind them, involved with 12-step programs, whether it's AA, NA, OA, fucking A, whatever. We welcome y'all too. We're glad you're a part of the show. And we welcome you to participate, by the way. Want to say hi to Kelly. I see we have Kelly in the chat room here, and we still got about a half dozen viewers watching right now live. So, hey, thank you for joining in, y'all, and welcome to all of y'all. But, yeah, man, we hope this program's entertaining for anyone. And we welcome you to chime in. Dean can provide a link in the chat where we can bring you on live and actually see you on. If you're not comfortable being on camera, we sometimes provide a phone number. You can call in and talk to us, or certainly you can participate in the chat with any questions, comments, feedback that you might have. So again, that's a kind of a quick Reader's Digest version recap of the purpose of our show. If you're struggling with an opiate addiction, hang with us. I know how it is when you're going through withdrawals. If you're trying to kick right now and you're laying in bed and you're scrolling the phone and you come across our show, believe me, I get it. I know what the fuck's up, man. You're fucking dealing with the cold sweats. You got restless leg and arm syndrome going on. You feel like you got a hamster on a wheel running around in your chest. Feel like you're crawling out of your skin. You barely got enough energy to even get up and go to the bathroom, which you're, going to need to go. You got no appetite. You got insomnia. It's horrible. The people compare it to having the flu. I say, fuck that. It's about 100 times worse than having the flu going through them withdrawals. Not to get off topic, y'all, but I'm a cancer survivor, too. I had a struggle with cancer. Thank God I've been cancer-free it was 6 years, actually, in April. So I think I'm out of the woods with that. And thank God I didn't have to go through radiation, but I did do 6 months of chemo treatment, and the fucking opiate withdrawals was worse than that. So, yeah, I get it. If you come across this program, you're struggling with withdrawals and trying to kick, and the clock just seems to tick at a snail's pace, because that's what it mainly comes down to. You got to do footwork, and you got to really work on yourself. To get through those physical withdrawals, it's a time thing. It takes time, and the clock just moves at a snail's pace. So with this program, we hope that in addition to sharing what we hope is some useful, helpful information, tips on how to kick, we also help you to kill some time, an hour to 2 hours ordinarily, with this show. So we'll keep you entertained, hopefully, and kill some time for you. So there we go. That's a recap of the program. And we're going to jump into some shout-outs now. We got some fun stuff today, y'all, because, with those hashtags, those are all very important to me and all been a very big part of my recovery journey. And today, each week, it seems like we kind of focus on a different one of those hashtags. And this week, the main focus is going to be on music. It literally saved my life. I can honestly say that, y'all, and I know everyone is a music person. Everyone loves music. I'll also say that, I'm not a music snob. I also will say I have this obsession with music that I've always had. I made a living at it for most of my life. Played music on the radio, had a couple mobile DJ businesses, worked in bars and clubs half my life playing music, So, and now I'm here in my later life. I actually record music. I'm obsessed with Logic Pro and learning auto-tune and music production. I've been on this journey since really last spring. And I try to record a song a day. I do a lot of covers and auto-tune them. And I put some stuff out there on my social media. But in any case, y'all, I needed to find another passion when I got clean. And although I was already pretty much obsessed with music, when I picked up this music production thing, it literally helped save my life. And I also love going to shows, and we're going to talk about that on today's edition of the show as well. And when I say shows, I mean concerts and things like that. So, yeah, today's focus is going to be a lot on music. And if you're going through withdrawals, man, and you're kicking and you're watching this program, hey, I highly encourage, man, put yourself a playlist together. Get lost into music, It helped me. It damn sure helped me get through, You got to pick the right music, though, There's that old saying, you can pick the music to make the mood, or you can let the music make the mood for you. Try to pick some upbeat and positive. Don't get, all that depressing-ass music when you're kicking, because that's probably not a good thing. But music's such a power.
So, Glenn, what do you use? What's your pick-me-up music?
Well, I'll say it right out of the gate, Dean. Anybody who knows me well, I'm a Stones guy, man. I say okay. I'm not a music snob, but I'm a fucking Stones snob. I am, man. That's my group. I mean, I love everything, and we're going to talk about that a little bit on the show today. Anybody who really knows me knows what an eclectic taste in music I have. I listen to fucking everything. I really do, and I keep up on all the new music and all. But if I had to pick one group, one artist, one and I was stranded on an island out in the middle of nowhere, and that was it. It'd be the Rolling Stones, And I've seen them like 12 times. I've traveled all over the country to see them. I've seen them in Detroit. I've seen them in Orlando. I've seen them in Tampa. I've seen them in St. Louis. And God, I'm hoping they tour again. Mick Jagger's been putting some videos out, and Keith Richards too, that, believe it or not, them old fuckers are still working on some new music, man. So, anyways, with all that said, let me go into some shout-outs, because talking about music, if you want to bring up, start getting into some of these pictures, Dean, and I'll say it before, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you don't get to them all, no sweat, no worries, bro, because I know I sent you a shit ton of them, but hopefully we can get to most of them. There is a songwriters camp that's been going on for the past few days. I think it's going today. I think today might be the last day. And God, I'm kind of jelly. I really wanted to go, but I just don't feel like I'm quite at the level of these guys to be there. And it's a songwriters workshop, basically a 4-day camp that was put together by that boy Kasky, who y'all hear me talk a lot about on this show and on my social media, and one of his producers, Anonymous, who yeah, man. Oh, my God. I just love these guys to death. I don't even know if they realize how much I appreciate everything they've done, to help me in even motivating me to get this podcast started. So anyway, yeah, this was just an email I got. Dean, I don't know, you got that line of pictures at the bottom covering up some of the print on this picture. I don't know if we can move that. If not, no big deal. But nonetheless, these guys have done this. Yeah, you see what it says. Learn from us, get publishing, jumpstart your credits, become unstoppable in your process. And that's their logo, by the way. I went to this, I didn't go to the Songwriters Workshop, but they did, yeah, there you go, back to the logo and that. They did what they called a Future of Artists Summit last December. And I went to it. I found out about it. I was getting emails and things and saw some social media posts, and it got my interest. And man, oh my God, I had so much fun. That was a 2-day event, and actually got to go with a couple friends of mine. One of y'all, or one who y'all know if you follow the show, Shivang went with me, and also this other kid, Brendan, who we're going to do a shout out to in a second here. And man, we had the time of our life, and we got to have some one-on-one time with Kasky, Anonymous, Victor Sounds, Tasty, all these people, man, Angel Hill. So anyway, Kasky and Anonymous have been holed up in this secret remote location somewhere in the Orlando area with this group of people that went to this songwriting camp. And these are all talented artists, most of whom I met at the Future of Artists Summit. And so, Dean, if you want to just start kind of going through some of those photos of the songwriters camp, and I think I have some of, yeah, there's some more information on it. This is so freaking cool, y'all. You can see day 1, developing a sound. Day 2, creative restrictions, the music business. Day 3, finishing projects. Day 4, rollouts and promotion. And this is so freaking cool, y'all, because one of the things that they talked about doing is actually working with the group of people that went to this thing, which was limited, I think, to like 10 people, to actually, you know, put a song together that they're going to publish, and everybody who's there and contributed to this, and I'm sure everybody did, will get, you know, revenue as this thing gets rolled out, and I guess it's like streaming revenue or whatever the fuck, you know. So in some fashion, they'll recoup their investment in attending this thing. But nonetheless, you know, that ain't even why people go, man. They went to this thing to learn, have one-on-one time with, yeah. And this is actually from the summit we went to last December. That's that boy Anonymous there in the middle. And then the guy on the end there on the left, his name is Vedros. He was a motivational speaker. Holy fucking cow. What a great speaker. And then, of course, that boy Kasky there on the right. And man, I just got to say that, you know, we had such a great time at that summit and learned so many things. Yeah, and there's a picture of me and that boy Brendan in the middle and that boy Shivang on the right. And by the way, I got an email from Anonymous stating that he's starting to work on the summit for this year. So thank God, man, they're going to make it an annual thing because, I'll be back, man. I will be back, you know. I'm going to tell some stories in a moment about Brendan and Shivang and, of course, myself. Them guys don't even realize what resulted from us attending this summit, and I'm going to talk about it in a moment. So anyway, I wanted to send a shout-out to all the guys and girls at the Songwriters Camp, and, of course, to that boy Kasky and Anonymous. You know, these guys, Dean, they're doing something that no other artist is doing. They've created this lane that I just think is so fucking cool. You know, and I talked a little bit about my obsession with music, my history with it, you know, how I've been, you know, made a living in it all these years. And I just, oh, yeah, thanks for bringing that picture up. There we are with Kasky. And for those of y'all that don't know who Kasky is, get with the program, y'all. The dude is not just a national artist. He is an internationally famous fucking superstar, man. The guy plays all over the world. He has a following everywhere. He just went to fucking New Zealand, which I was kind of jealous. No, I wasn't jealous. I was happy for him. But as some of y'all know, one of my favorite artists, Benny, is from Auckland, and Caskey went over there, did some shows, and just such a cool guy, man. He's just so fucking approachable, and where I was going with that, and willing to share his wisdom and experience. You know, him and Anonymous, man, they just, like I said, they created this lane where they're helping people. You know, when I was a younger man, if there were artists who weren't such fucking gatekeepers with all the secrets of the industry, God only knows what my trajectory might have been. And these guys are out there helping young artists, find their way, teaching them mistakes that they made so they don't make the same mistakes, and that whole thing. And then there's that boy Angel Hill. Like I said, him and I were messaging each other DM this past week, and he's agreed to be on the show, and we talked about maybe having him on today, but like I said, I think he might have forgot he was in that songwriters workshop, so I'm hoping to maybe have him on next week. But if not next week, we'll have him on soon. And by the way, if you want to hear some Angel Hill music, he did a collab with Caskey called "You Don't Really Love Me." And by the way, I should say, I've had a conversation with Dee. We would love to play music on this show, but we don't want to get hit for copyright and then it not get out there in the algorithms and the searches. So we don't play music on the show. We're going to do a little short video clip of a concert I went to, but you wouldn't even be able to determine what song it is. So, but anyway, go check out Angel Hill and Caskey on "You Don't Really Love Me." And then Angel put out this tune about a month ago called "Flight to Florida." Holy fucking cow. Oh my God, I fucking love that tune, y'all. Especially, having lived in Florida for 30 years, and now I'm out here in Cali, and I've flown back a couple times, and I'll be going back again soon. And man, that fucking tune just hits home for me, man. When I first heard it, I got filled up, bro. I was like, God damn, motherfucker singing my song, And now he just put out some other stuff, so anyway, shout out to you too, Angel, if you see this. I hope you do, and we really hope to have you on the show soon. So anyway, shout out to all them guys. I'm anxious to hear what music they came up with at the songwriters camp. And man, maybe I'll get to the level eventually where I wouldn't be so self-conscious about going. I had some one-on-one calls with Caskey and Anonymous after that Future of Artists Summit, and I talked to him about the songwriters camp, and I was like, oh man, I'm almost to the point of just wanting to come to be a fly on the wall and just watch y'all in the process. And I don't know, it just wasn't meant to be, this time around. But like I said, man, I keep going hard at this auto-tune and working in Logic and getting better at it all the time. Who knows, if they do that thing again next year, I might just fucking go and have fun. I'll be the oldest motherfucker in the room, but I don't care. Like I say all the time, y'all, I refuse to grow up, and as my son says, Dad, growing up is over fucking rated. So, I just can't say how much I appreciate them guys. And then I just want to comment on this theme before we move on. What I had talked about, and in fact, let's go ahead and go to the next shout out, and then I'll expand on it a little bit. That picture of that boy Brendan. And I texted Brendan just maybe a half hour before the show today to tell him we were going to do a shout out. We did a shout out for him a couple weeks ago. He had a birthday, I think it was. But now I want to do a shout out because Brendan has got himself a new gig, and he's working in this recording studio. And it's 212 Recording Studio. And there he is. Yeah, that's my boy Brendan. Oh, my God. Talk about a fucking talented artist, y'all. His stage name is Young and Brokenhearted. or Young Heartbroken. YHB, I thought it was Young and Broken Heart. It must be YHB, which we joked about. I think it was last week, actually. We said, we got to get that boy a better stage name, something a little more upbeat instead of talking about being brokenhearted. But nonetheless, I'm just fucking with you, Brendan, if you watch this. Man, what a talented artist. Check out his music. I know it's out there on SoundCloud, Apple Music, whatnot. I think he's out there on YouTube through DistroKid. But anyhow, when we went to that music of Future of Artists Summit with Kasky Anonymous and all them guys, Brendan, who, by the way, is a Full Sail grad. For those in the Central Florida area, you'll know Full Sail. And for anybody else watching, that is like a top shelf. I know you know, Dean, Full Sail, top shelf, school for musicians and producers and, people in the creative field. And Brendan, I hope you don't mind me saying this, bro. He was working at Starbucks out near Universal or Disney or whatever. And I was just so fucking happy to hear, bro, that you're working in this recording studio now, because that's your element, man. You are more fucking talented than I even think you realize. And so I had to show this photo and send this shout out to Brendan. And so this is what I also want to talk about with Kasky and Anonymous. That Future of Artists Summit, I remember, and I was talking to Shebang about this just yesterday. We were talking to Brendan after, like, well, what'd you think about this thing, bro, near the end of it? And his words, and Shebang remembered it too, were life-changing. Fucking life-changing. And it was, y'all. Here's some things that resulted from that. And Anonymous, Kasky, if y'all are watching this, man, I want y'all to know this. Not only did it motivate Brendan to get a job working in a recording studio to continue to kind of, work on his craft, it motivated Shebang to put a whole fucking CD together and release it. Put a whole CD together, man. It's out there, and we talked about it on this show. It's been out for about a month and a half or whatever it's been, and then motivated me to finally get this fucking podcast going, because I had been procrastinating about this podcast for well over a year. And Anonymous said something that just fucking got me so motivated. He said, you know what, y'all? And I can't remember if I heard him say it or if he posted it, but basically it was that perfection can be a form of procrastination. And man, did that hit home with me. It hit me right where it counts, because that's exactly what was going on with me with this podcast. I just kept trying to get all these little pieces in place. I wanted everything to be fucking perfect before we went with it. And it just kept one thing after another, and finally we had enough pieces in place. I talked with Dean about it. I said, you know what, let's just roll this fucker out. It'll take on a life of its own. We'll have some challenges and some bumps along the way, but they'll flush themselves out, and that's exactly what's happened. This program just keeps getting better and better all the time, in my opinion. And even just like last week, having, Dennis Salvaggio on, our first high-profile guest, man, and it went awesome, So anyway, not to get off on that for too much, y'all, but that Future of Artists Summit, man, like I said, that motivated. That's just 3 stories, y'all. I can't even imagine the other stories some of the artists there had. And by the way, another thing that came out of that summit, our logo for this program, the Dare Me logo, was created by one of the artists I met at that Future of Artists Summit, who we're going to have on the show soon. His name is Dustin Warbear. And Dustin, shout out to you. If you see this, bro, what a talented artist, man. He posts reels of stuff. He does shows all over. He's based in Wisconsin, but what a talented musician, rapper, artist, graphic artist, and so, yeah, man, I commissioned him, and he put our logo together, and the whole, the thing even with my picture and all that shit. Anyways, man, so much stuff came out of that thing, and so I'll move on from it, but I just can't tell you how much I appreciate them guys. I don't even think they realize how much people appreciate what they've done. Like I said, creating this lane to help young, new artists out there. So anyhow, moving on. More about that to come, y'all. And again, hopefully Kasky even said he'd be a guest on this show at one point. So we're going to get Kasky on here. Love to have have Anonymous on here and some of them other guys, man, but anyway, we'll move on now. So I want to send another shout out to this group. They call themselves Zero Bar. And Dean, I sent you a few pics of this God, I don't even know I don't want to call them an outfit. I found some of their social media stuff. It came up in my feed, and I think it had to do with algorithms because I'm always talking about, drugs, addiction, and things to that nature. But right now, y'all, in case you weren't aware, what has really, really become a trendy thing and is so popular is these no alcohol like bars, yeah, and NA beers, like things like O'Doul's, Heineken Zero, things like that. These alcohol-free drinks. A lot of people call them mocktails instead of cocktails. Well, this place, it's called Zero Bar and Lounge. Excuse me. This was a post I lifted from them off of Facebook. And by the way, yeah, their T-shirts, they put, it's Friday. Are you living AF? And of course, a lot of people think, know that AF acronym is as fuck. Are you living as fuck? But what they wrote is, we mean alcohol free, but you can interpret it however you want. So I think it goes both ways. And then, so this post here, I thought we'd talk about too, because it says, there she is, the first and only non-alcoholic mobile bar in Jackson, Michigan. They call themselves Zero Bar and Lounge. This dude converted a trailer into this mobile lounge, and they go to different places. Like, there might be a festival going on, or an art show, or a carnival, or food truck thing, or whatever the fuck. And they serve these alcohol-free drinks, y'all, because, a lot of people like going to these events, and, they might not even be a recovering person, might not be an alcoholic, an addict that's staying clean, just somebody who doesn't want to fucking drink, but doesn't want your typical soda or bottle of water, whatever they want, some like a NA beer or a mocktail, and this place is just so fucking cool. And there's places like that. This is a mobile thing, y'all. They go all over, but there's like stationary, bars or locations or whatever, cafes, whatever you want to call them. There's a place here in Orlando, old habits hard to break. Here in Sacramento, and that's all they serve is non-alcohol drinks. So yeah, here's a post they had, an elevated new bar experience, and I'm not going to sit here and read to y'all, but you see they do corporate events, weddings, showers, graduations. Got a little barcode there you can scan. Zero alcohol, 100% fun. So, not to go after the drinkers, man. Hey, if you're a drinker and you can handle it, more power to you, man. I used to be there till I crossed that line. I can't do it anymore. I'll just go out of fucking control. Like I said, you don't want me to fucking start drinking again, I'll also say, I'm one of them guys who does enjoy an NA beer, I like drinking that stuff, program people, some people are on the fence about it. Some people, absolutely not. Some people consider it a fucking relapse, and it's like, hey, if that's how you feel, bro, do you, I'll do me, you do you, because there is a big segment of us who enjoy that kind of thing, and I know people from AA who attribute their sobriety to NA beers. Are like, oh my God, thank God for fucking O'Doul's or Heine Zero or whatever the fuck, because man, without it, I don't know if I could have stopped drinking my beers, and so, hey, bro, if that's not for you, don't fucking do it. If that's a trigger, don't fucking drink that shit, man. I support you 110%. Don't fucking judge people who do, because like I said, there are people who like drinking these alcohol-free drinks or NA beers or whatever, who, in some cases attribute their sobriety to it. I wouldn't say I attribute my sobriety to it. Fuck, I got a half a six-pack O'Doul sitting in the fridge. It's been there for 6 months. I don't hardly drink that shit at home. When I go out from time to time, like I did the concert this past week, and they sold Heine Zeros, and it was kind of cool to have a couple there at the show, without having to worry about getting fucked up. So anyway, enough about that. Want to send a shout out to Zero Bar and Lounge, based in Jackson, man. And God, man, I'd like to see things like this, expand to other locations. Who knows? Maybe they'll do a franchise thing or something like that, because I believe this thing is really going to take on a life of its own. And shout out to all the establishments, by the way, too, that put the non-alcohol drinks on their menu. Those NA beers. Those of us that do like those, we appreciate it more than you fucking realize when y'all have that available. There's a place here in Sacramento, I'll just say real quick. It's called the Thai Lotus Restaurant, and they do entertainment there. I've talked about them on some of my social media posts. And a friend of mine in the program, Bejan, if you see this piece, love you, girl. Hope to see you again soon. She did a Sade cover show there. And I went in the place before the show just to kind of case the joint. And I was talking to the owner, whose name slips my mind at the moment. But I asked him if he served, NA beers. He said, no, man, we don't have it on the menu. And so I talked to him about it. And then when we went there for the show, he said, hey, he came up to our table. He goes, hey, Glenn, by the way, man, he goes, I do have Heine Zeros here now. He goes, I appreciate you mentioning that to me. I had a couple other people ask for it too. So now I've got it here anytime you want, man. So how cool is that, I just think it's so cool when people, listen to their customers and what they're asking for and what they're saying, and that's what he did. And so, yeah, man, shout out to all the establishments that ain't trying to force booze down the throat of everybody, and understand there are some of us, whether you're a recovering person or not, that like to have a beer or two, or whatever when we go out, or a mocktail, but not with the alcohol in it. We just so anyway, I think I made my point about that. Shout out to them guys again once more. So let's transition into the news. We got to come up with a sound effect or something, Dean, when we transition into the news. I told Dean we're going to show this first photo here, that maybe we could use this. It's kind of an animated photo of, the opiates in the news that someone created. Yeah, and I think this is a good transition into, yeah, there you go, slashing that shit in the breaking news. A transition, because every week we've kind of, like I said, the show kind of takes on a life, or taken on a life of its own. And each week we talk about, some of the things going on with the opiate epidemic, the opiate crisis in the news. And man, I'll tell you what, we could talk for hours each week about different things. I try to keep up on this stuff. And then I do a pretty good job. All you got to do is fucking Google it, and a zillion things will come up about what's going on in this whole opiate crisis during the week. And we're going to talk about one story this week. And it's something going on here not too far from me, locally here on the West Coast in San Francisco. Seems like San Fran has really gotten a lot of attention lately, not just here locally in California, but really across the country, about how bad it's gotten out there. And it is bad in San Francisco. And God, I love San Francisco, y'all. Not picking on San Fran. I will say it's bad there. And we've talked about it on this show. Just for the first 3 months of the year, they released a report. We talked about it on our last show. From January through the end of March, they had a 40% increase in overdose fatalities. 40% in the first 3 months of 2023. And it's out of control, y'all. It's just so out of control. And in certain parts of the downtown area of San Francisco, you just drive through and it breaks your heart. And so anyway, everybody's been really putting pressure on, the local authorities and, government leaders and, things of that nature in the San Fran area. We talked last week a little bit about this unique ad campaign that a nonprofit's doing and all. Well, now in the past week, law enforcement has come forward with this information that they are planning a 90-day crackdown on drug dealing that's going on right out in the open in the San Francisco area. And it says, why dealers and users say it will never change. So, it's kind of that whole thing, like even with the homeless, the homeless will converge on certain areas, which has certainly happened in the San Francisco area. And the law enforcement will come along and chase them away. Okay, and it has this appearance that, okay, well, they cleaned that up. No, they just moved them to a different place, and that's what a lot of the dealers and users are basically saying here. Like, okay, you can have this 90-day crackdown in certain areas of San Fran downtown, and try to get these drug dealers that are doing it right out in the open, just like that picture there. There's this guy, he's smoking crack right out in the open, and we don't mean to put him on blast, but they got his picture and his name right there, and this is what's going on, y'all, in certain areas of San Francisco. It's just, the using and the dealing of the dope is just going on all right out in the open. And people are fed up with it, and so they've really putting pressure on authorities and whatnot, to law enforcement, to do something about it. So they're going to do this 90-day crackdown, and what exactly does that even fucking mean? A crackdown? What are they going to go arrest these people? Now we got more people locked up who should probably be in drug treatment of some sort. Once the people who are in the area realize the cops are really giving everybody a hard time, they're going to just start being a little more discreet about it. Not all of them, but some of them, or go to other areas and all. So there's some people that feel like, hey, don't do that, man. Now it's like stepping on a fucking ant pile. They're all going to start going all over the place. At least we know downtown right where they're fucking at. Keep them in one spot. So I'm not giving y'all an opinion on this. I'm just talking about it because, again, as I've said on this show many, many times, y'all, this opiate epidemic, this drug epidemic is so far reaching, and of course the whole fentanyl component to it. And we talked about xylazine, which is known as trank on the streets now. I don't want to get too far off into that again, but it's fucking crazy, the shit's going on, man. And so I don't know, it's like another thing they're going to try, to try to, clean up a little bit of downtown San Fran. I guess, San Fran it's a big tourist city too, and it's like with the bad press they've been getting lately, man, it's got to be affecting, the local economy. And, San Fran, if you've ever been, what a fucking beautiful city with so much rich history and all that other stuff, and right in the bay there. And then with all this bad press that they're getting, with all this homeless and drug use stuff going on, man, they're taking it on the chin right now. And like I said, y'all, not to take anything away from, these fallen soldiers that were killed, in these wars and these horrible statistics that we're seeing here. But there's some interesting, stats right here. U.S. recorded nearly 110,000 overdose deaths just last year. That's a headline article from the New York Times, y'all. 110,000 overdose deaths in 2022. So when we talk about a war, like all those wars we just showed with all those fallen soldiers, well, this whole fucking overdose thing and this opiate epidemic, it's a fucking war too, y'all. It's a goddamn war going on. Even just the news story we just talked about, that's just San Francisco, just one little area of downtown San Francisco, and this shit's going on all over the country, Not to repeat ourselves over and over again, on this show, but like we say, man, by the time we finish this program, 8 to 10 people will die of an opiate overdose. Holy cow. Just blows my mind, So yeah, man, I just thought we'd give that comparison, that analogy. And again, like I said, not to take anything away from those fallen heroes. My old man was a vet, and he was a disabled American vet. He didn't die in the war, but he fought in Korea and he took machine gun fire. And that shit affected him for the rest of his life. So I have big respect for our veterans, more than I could even describe. So I don't show this comparison trying to take anything away from our vets, nothing but respect to them. I'll also say, man, we got a fucking war going on with this opiate thing too, and the fatality rate is it just blows my mind. So, with all that said, again, bringing this thing back around to how we helping people who are able to get to a point where they want to do something about their addiction. And what can they do to pull themselves out of it? And, a lot of times people are struggling with things in addition to the addiction that may be contributing to it. And that could include things like anxiety and things to that nature. And so, I said we were going to talk a lot about music today, and I want to talk about this because it just blows my mind, y'all. The power of music. And if you follow my stuff and you're a regular viewer of this show, you know what a huge fan I am of this girl, Benny, who I've already mentioned once on the show. She's an artist out of Auckland in New Zealand. A lot of y'all got to know her during the pandemic, the lockdown. She went viral on TikTok for that song, Super Lonely. Well, I dug that song, so I dug deeper into her catalog. Come to find out, she had been doing music for a long time leading up to that, several years. And I just fell in love with her stuff and her quirky, cool personality and all. Well, I tell y'all that because she released this song, thank you, Dean, this past week. And I like I say, y'all, I don't want to sit here and read to you, but let's go through this. This is from her official Instagram site. She put a song out called Bagels, which kind of a weird name, but you get the idea. Bagels is out in the world, created by Benny, and check this out, backed by science. Talk about the power of music. A new song designed to help when you're feeling anxious. Benny collaborated with the New Zealand mental health charity Youth Line and leading neuroscientists on a new single scientifically designed to help reduce anxious feelings. And Bagels has been written and produced specifically to support young people's well-being. And all the income generated from the song is donated to this group at Youth Linens. So, again, I wish we could just play this on the show, but like I've said, me and Dean have talked about it. We don't want to get hit for copyright and then our show not come up in searches and things because of it. But I can't encourage y'all enough. And here's another post that I saw on Instagram, basically just repeating everything that I just said. So please go check it out. It is like maybe you're trying to wind down at the end of the day, put your earbuds in, whatever, and, go to Benny. You can get it on her YouTube site or Instagram, whatever, SoundCloud, Apple Music, whatever your platform preference is, and check it out. It's truly calming. You kind of hear her voice at certain parts very subtly in the background, and I just think it's so cool. And then, she's not taking a dime from this thing. And it says, it's geared toward helping youth, but really it's geared toward anybody. I have feelings of anxiousness and anxiety at different times. And I was listening to it chilling by the pool, man. I was laying in the sun, had it in, my earbuds. And this picture here, Dean, thanks for bringing this up. This is just, one of the pics I took a screenshot of during the video because the video is cool as fuck, too. It's very calming. And then I think there was another one of her from the video too. Yep, this is from the video. So I encourage you not just to listen to the song, but watch the video as well. The name of the song is Bagels, and you, when you listen to it, you'll figure out why. And so I couldn't resist. Yeah, you knew I had to show these again. I sent her this. I said, "Love you for this, Benny," because I just think it's so cool that she is doing stuff like that to try to help people. And so, yeah, y'all, I was so fortunate enough to meet Benny last summer up in Detroit. That one on the left there is us at St. Andrews Hall, and the two on the right were just like a month ago down in Hollywood at the Roxy. She's just so cool, man. She came out to vibe with some of us that were there waiting to get in. And, I was so happy she remembered me at the Roxy and like, oh, God, So, and then I think I had a picture of us with that boy Shebang too, because I took him to Betty's show, that one on the left there in Detroit. Yeah, and so there we are inside, and Shebang, some of y'all remember from this show, he didn't even know who Benny was when I told him about her, and then I said, "Oh, bro, you got to come to the show. We're gonna meet Benny, man," and we did, and you can see he's pointing at her, and he's a huge fan now too. He just loves her. So yeah, man, hoping she goes on tour. That I think she will too do another U.S. tour soon. She when I saw her down in Hollywood, she played Coachella, and so that was just kind of a sideshow that she did being at Coachella. But I'm really hoping that she does a whole tour again, and I'll definitely go see her again. She got that tune Green Honda out that came out about 2 months ago that she could tour on. And, of course, this new one that she just put out, y'all, that I just talked about. So, hey, God bless you, Benny. If you see this, we love you. And how cool of you to do that tune, Bagels. And again, if y'all are watching, listening, I can't encourage you enough to check it out. Like I said, man, maybe listen to it on the wind down at the end of the day, laying out by the pool. Definitely has that calming effect. If you struggle with anxiety, which a lot of people going through recovery, certainly if you're kicking an opiate addiction, good God. I talked earlier about, listening to music that could help you get through that. That's a song that certainly could. It's got a very calming effect. And so if you're working on kicking an opiate addiction or some other drug addiction and you're laying around in bed with no fucking energy, just trying to get through the withdrawals and waiting for that shit to lift from you, getting it out of your system, which takes a while, y'all. It takes a long time, days, weeks sometimes. There's a song out now that's scientifically proven, through neuroscientists and shit to fucking help calm your anxiety. How fucking cool is that? So again, props to Benny and the people she worked with for putting that out there, man. And again, she's not profiting on it at all. All the proceeds from any streaming or whatever from it going to support that one youth group. So I just couldn't resist talking about that because it is timely. It just came out this past week, y'all. Check it out. Okay, this is funny. I got to talk about this. It was great, though. So if again, I said we were talking a lot about music, y'all. So if you know Pink Floyd, who doesn't know a Pink Floyd? Even all my young friends know who Pink Floyd is. They've heard of him in one fashion or another. Well, Pink Floyd is no longer together as an official group. The two main members, Roger Waters and David Gilmour, apparently they fucking hate each other. I've seen interviews. They do not get along. And that's too bad. I wish they did. It's kind of like Mick and Keith and Paul and John and, Stephen and Joe from Aerosmith. You get the idea. It's like Roger and David from Pink Floyd. Well, Roger Waters has been doing this tour, and the way he's been promoting it is Pink Floyd's Roger Waters. Yeah, there you go. Thanks for bringing that up, Dean. This was a screenshot I took. And he's out touring, and I actually saw this concert live in Detroit last spring, and it was amazing. It really was cool. And he does, some solo stuff, but about half the show is old Pink Floyd songs. and he does, just like Brick in the Wall and, Money and, Sheep from the Animals album, Wish You Were Here, I mean, you get the idea. If you know Pink Floyd, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, he did a show just a couple of days ago, last Thursday, from Prague in the Czech Republic. And it was broadcast live all over the world, but the only places you could see it were in movie theaters, or as it says, only in cinemas. You couldn't get it live streamed on TV or pay-per-view or anything like that. But you could go to a movie theater and watch the show live with people all over the world watching it at the exact same time. And I just thought, okay, I gotta fucking be there for this, man. How cool is that gonna be? And so I talked to some friends about going. And I'm gonna show a picture, y'all. She's probably gonna kill me for fucking showing this, but I know she won't mind. This is my friend Shay, y'all. And Shay is actually my NA sponsor here in Sacramento. And when I ran this by her and a couple other people from our home group who just, they couldn't make it for whatever reasons, Shay initially was like, no, I ain't going to that. What the fuck? She's like, no, I really ain't into that kind of music, man, And I had texted her. I was like at the gym when I just got this idea I wanted to go. So I texted her and some other home group members, and we were all kind of texting back and forth in this group text for about an hour. And so finally she came back on and said, all right, Glenn, I'm going to go. I'll go with you to the show. Now, if you look at her face in this picture, there we are at the theater. I said, all right, Shay, we got to get a picture, man. I got to put this out on social media. That brought Shay to come see Pink Floyd, Look at the smile on her face there. She's smiling for the camera. But then I sent you another picture, Dean. That I want now. This is the actual picture of her smiling. I look like hell in that picture. I think that's a horrid picture of me, but whatever. It is what it is. My big old forehead and shit. But there she's smiling. But now this one, look at her face in this one. When I saw this picture, I just busted out laughing because I thought to myself, oh my God, what must she be thinking in this picture? Like, I can't believe this crazy ass white boy got me out here to this fucking Pink Floyd show. What the hell have I got myself into? But thank you so much, Shay. I know you're going to see this eventually. I will never forget that night as long as I live. And she actually said she had a good time. She didn't know really any of their music, but then they did Brick in the Wall, and she said, oh, yeah, I know that Brick in the Wall tune. I mean, everybody's heard that at one point or another. And we sat there for over 2 hours, man. We had some popcorn and some snacks, and we even had some pizza and soda, man. We just vibed and it was just such a great time. So again, Shay, thank you so much for going with me. I will never forget it as long as I live. I shared at the meeting. We went to the meeting afterwards, and I said, man, I don't know if you noticed, but, I say on this show sometimes, there's that saying around the program, when you get clean, all your feelings and emotions come back. And that certainly is the case with me. And when they did Wish You Were Here, I got all filled up, y'all, and, teary-eyed, and I was looking away, trying to kind of wipe it. I was hoping she didn't even see that I was getting filled up. But anyway, I had to show this, y'all. So that's my friend Shay, and I will tell y'all, she's a real one, she is a real one. There's an old saying around the program that, when someone's looking for a sponsor, getting a sponsor, some of the purists and whatnot will say, men with the men and women with the women, and part of the reason for that is, in fact, all good intentions, especially for younger people and all, hormones raging and all that other kind of shit. And there are opportunists around the program. You got to remember, not everybody's there for the same reason, and so, it's encouraged, that, men get with the men, women with the women, so that guys ain't taking advantage of girls, or vice versa. It goes on both ways, from a sexual perspective or relationship relationship perspective or whatever. You know, I'll also say, you get older and that doesn't necessarily come into play as much, And, as I've told Shay, and I know she wouldn't mind me saying this, when I first heard her share at a meeting and got to know her, because I've been around the block in the 12-step programs, as I've talked about on this program, man, I'm 61 years old. I first walked in my first NA meeting when I was just shy of 25. So there ain't much I haven't seen or heard in a fucking NA meeting. I ain't saying I know it all, y'all. I learn something new every day. I will say, that I've been around the block in the program, put it that way. And, you would think that for some of y'all who know my background, certainly people from my professional life, and coming from, as Dean likes to say, corporate America and, working in a high profile position in the news media and, multi-million-dollar company and all that other shit, that, when I'd be looking for a sponsor, I would want some professional, clean-cut, all-American certain tie wearing person, and it's like that doesn't really interest me. And so would I say that I chose Shay because she's a real one? Man, the first time I heard her share, like I said, y'all, being around the program as long as I have, I knew immediately, okay, there ain't no bullshit here, and so our friendship and relationship continues to evolve. What I will say, and I recommend this for anyone, if you're someone new to trying to get clean or getting clean and looking for a sponsor, don't pick somebody who's going to sugarcoat shit, co-sign your bullshit, because, when we first start getting clean, a lot of sick thinking still going on, a lot of bullshit behavior, and sometimes people pat you on the back, give you a pat on the ass, like, oh, everything's going to be okay, and maybe that's okay for some people. That's not what I need, I need somebody who's going to tell me like it is, like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, man. So yeah, I needed a real one, and I'm so grateful to have this relationship with my friend and my sponsor now, Shay. So, you pick, and ask the person that you think might be best suited for you, all that male, female, black, white, Puerto Rican, everybody, gay, straight bullshit, fuck all that, man. Whoever you think you can relate to the most, that's going to be able to help you and be your biggest cheerleader, and give you good, honest feedback. That's who I recommend, you try to work with, So anyway, moving on. Thank you, Shay, for going to the Roger Waters Pink Floyd show with me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I really had fun. And again, that was just a couple days ago, y'all. That was last Thursday. So now we got to move on to another music show. I told you this show was going to be a lot about music, that I went to last Tuesday. And oh my God, y'all, if you follow my stuff, you know what a fan I am of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers since I was a kid and they first came out. And if you know, Tom Petty unfortunately died of an opiate overdose. Whew, man. Trying not to get filled up talking about it. I never even met the man, Met Mike Campbell, his guitar player, a couple of times, which we're going to talk about in a second. But I never got to meet Tom. And yeah, there's a picture of Tom and Mike Campbell playing when Tom was still alive. And as we all know, man, what an American legend, People talk often about, what was their favorite Super Bowl show and all that. And, of course, I don't think anything could ever compare to that Prince Super Bowl show where he played Purple Rain in the pouring rain. That was probably my favorite. But, even being the big Stones fan I am, their Super Bowl show was just, the MJ show was, they just did that one with Dre and Snoop and Eminem. It was like, This show, if you go back and watch it on YouTube, man, what a classic all-American Super Bowl show that was, And when he did American Girl and then he did Running Down a Dream, oh, my God. That definitely was, next to the Prince show. Yeah, there they are at the Super Bowl. And so keep this pick up for a second, Dean, because I went to see, you see Mike Campbell, there he is with the red tie, and then you see the black guy, that's Steve Ferrone, the drummer. I met them both last Tuesday, and we're going to show pictures in just a second and some video. Both of these guys are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and this is from the Super Bowl. I just, man, oh man, I can't tell you how fucking thrilling it was for me. So yeah, man, that's that. So they played at a club here in Sacramento. When I say they, I mean Mike and Steve. Mike Campbell has a group called Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs. And again, Mike was the lead guitar player for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers for 40 years until Tom died of an opiate overdose, which I don't say that in any disrespectful manner. You know, I love Tom Petty. And his family even talks about how they hope that, you know, his accidental opiate overdose helps people that may be struggling with that shit. And we're going to talk about that in a future edition of this show, man. All the artists that the opiates have taken out. Prince, I mentioned Prince, died of an opiate overdose. Tom Petty, Mac Miller, Peep, you know, Juice World, all these guys, man. We're going to do a show talking just about that. But in any case, I don't want to get too far off on that right now. Mike Campbell has this group, the Dirty Knobs. He had it when Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers was going on, and Tom fully supported it. You know, Mike did this thing in between tours and all that. And so anyway, since Tom passed, you know, obviously I'm sure the dude took some time, but he's got this group together now. And he's got Steve Ferrone, who was the drummer in Tom Petty there for years, as his drummer in the Dirty Knobs. And I saw him in Detroit last summer, and I did a meet and greet, and I got to meet Mike Campbell. And Dean, I did send you a picture. That's me and him with his little dog in the picture when I met him at the shelter in Detroit, or St. Andrews Hall. Which is such a cool venue, you know, and by the way, Mike has a foundation. Well, there's Mike and Steve Ferrone. That was a picture I posted on my social media leading up to the show, just saying how excited I was. It's right next to that one, Dean, the picture I wanted to show. No, the next one over. Yeah, there you go. That's me and Mike in Detroit at St. Andrews Hall last summer, and he's got his little dog there because he has a nonprofit foundation called the Tazzy Foundation. And all the proceeds go to rescuing dogs. So he does this thing called, you know, Rock the Dogs. So, yeah, check out the Tazzy Foundation, y'all. Great organization. But, man, I got to tell you, I was so starstruck in this picture. I walked up to him, and I felt like them guys from fucking Wayne's World, you know. I was like, oh, my God, I'm not worthy, you know. Because it was my first time meeting him. And for me, y'all, you know, a lot of people, I know some people don't know who Mike Campbell is or get it or whatever. You know, for me, it was on the level of like meeting Keith Richards or Stevie Ray or fucking Van Halen. I mean, the guy is a guitar legend, you know. And again, you know, for me, you know, it's just Tom Petty and Heartbreakers always one of my favorite groups, man. And some of his solos and some of the riffs he came up with. You know, but we had a good conversation. We talked for about 5 minutes or so. So anyway, then I saw him at the Fillmore in San Francisco, but I didn't get to meet him or talk with him there. I got real close, and I posted some videos of that show when I was there last fall. But then he announced he was going on this West Coast tour, and he made a stop at a place called the Ace of Spades here in Sacramento last Tuesday. And so, yeah, there's a picture I took of Ace of Spades. It's a small club here in Sacramento. It's the size of St. Andrews Hall in Detroit, House of Blues in Orlando, the Fillmore in San Fran. You get the idea. And they have acts there every fucking night. It's really a cool venue, y'all. If you ever come to Sacramento or if you live in Sac, you know what I'm talking about. Ace of Spades, totally cool. So I went there and I got to meet Mike and Steve, And, I was expecting they'd give me about 5 minutes. They literally gave me over 10 minutes just talking with them, y'all. And I didn't plan it this way, but I was first in line in the VIP line to get in to go talk to them. And if you want to show that picture of me and the whole group, it's right next to the one you showed, Dean, of me meeting Mike in Detroit. Yeah, there you go, that one there. And there I am. There's Mike Campbell on my right, and then Lance, the bass player, is wearing the Maxell shirt, and then this guy Chris, who plays guitar, he's fucking awesome. And then Steve Ferroni, the drummer. Now, Dean, you brought up that one picture. It's on the other side of the one from Detroit. I just want to show this to show Steve's resume. Yeah, one over again. Keep going. Yeah, right there. Now, look at this guy. I'm not to fucking name drop y'all, but I just want y'all to understand why I'm spending as much time on this as I am, because I truly was like in fucking awe. Like I said, both of these guys are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was one thing to meet Mike and see him again, which he remembered me, by the way, but that's kind of a whole nother story. But okay, so Steve has played with, look at the lineup there. Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, George Harrison, Duran Duran, Stevie Nicks. I'm not sure who Laura Pausini is, to be honest, y'all. Christy McVie, may she rest in peace. Rick James, Slash, Chaka Khan, Bee Gees, Scritti Politti, Aerosmith, Al Jarreau, Mick Jagger, Johnny Cash, Todd Rundgren, Pat Metheny, and the list goes on. He is a session player, y'all, and although he played, with the Heartbreakers from '94 up until Tom passed in '17, and now, with Mike Campbell, he really kind of started off with the Average White Band way back in the '70s, which is another fucking classic group. So, I told him, I'll tell a little story during the meet and greet. So we're talking, and I come up and, I could tell Mike recognized me. And then as soon as I explained to him where I met him, he was like, oh, yeah. And so then we were just, it was kind of all over because the adrenaline was flowing, but I said something, I'm paraphrasing, but I go, hey, man, I just think this is so fucking cool of y'all to do this, and make it, available to true fans like myself. I said, man, I got to tell you, the older I get, the more I believe in vibes and energy. And, this is such a big deal to me, not just because I'm getting to meet you guys, but when I think of all the people you've played with, like Tom and, Steve, you playing with Michael Jackson and Mick and all that, man, I just feel like, it's all part of this vibe and energy. And as soon as I said that, Steve was just listening to me the whole time. And once I said that, he literally fucking puts his hand out there and we shake fucking hands. And he was like, right on, bro. He really dug it that I said that. And that was just like so fucking cool, man. I just had such a great time. And so anyway, I could go on and on and on, believe me, y'all, more than I already have. But this will be kind of fun to do, and hopefully it all goes smoothly. But I sent Dean a few videos, and I did some live videos from outside the show during the whole meet and greet thing, and then I even posted a bunch of live videos during the show, which I noticed, because I went back and looked at some of them, that when you're doing these Facebook Live videos, the quality is like shit, If I take videos, I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max, which is like pretty much the latest, greatest. I know they have a 14 out now, but the guy even told me at Best Buy there's not a whole lot of difference with the camera and shit. But I have noticed if I take videos, they're like fucking high-def quality, but the live stream videos, they were just blurry as shit, It wasn't very good quality. But I'll tell you what, man, when you record videos at concerts and go back and post them later, it's a lot of fucking work, man. Very time consuming. So I thought to myself, okay, I know I got a lot of followers and friends that are going to want to see some of this shit. And I had a lot comment on it. I want to send a shout out to my friend Buddy. I saw you dug that running down a dream video. Hope to see you over the summer, by the way, bro. But anyway, yeah, man, I posted a bunch of these live videos, and so I took a clip from one of them, Running Down a Dream, and we're going to show that in a second if it all goes smoothly. And you'll see at the end of it, he goes to fucking hand me the guitar pick. And because we had this conversation, and he knows that I do covers, and I'm working in Logic and Auto-Tune and all that, and I told him that, you know, I cover Tom Petty stuff, and that when I'm in the studio, I just get these fucking vibes come over me. It's really bizarre, y'all, but I really believe in that shit. When I'm singing them songs, just something happens. I don't even know how to describe it, but there was this girl that was next to me who truly is a fangirl. She follows him around, and I couldn't take the guitar pick, so I wanted that motherfucker, and I know he wanted me to have it, but we let the girl have it. But there's a clip of her. I told her to hold it up, and she's a little cutie, by the way, too. But anyways, y'all, we'll show that video, too. So, Dean, with all that said, if we could, let's give it a shot. Let's try to show the first video of me outside. And this is in the VIP line. And I met some really cool people there. And they were just vibing like I was, getting anxious to go inside. Then we'll show the second video, which is me right after I spent about 10 minutes with the Legends. And then we'll show that clip of Mike playing the solo during Running Down a Dream, where he's literally right up in my face. So, Dean, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Let's see if we can get that first video to play. Hey y'all, peace, what's happening? We are going live from the Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knob show. We are here in the VIP line. Guess who's first in line? Surprise, surprise, follow my shit. And we're about to see the guitar legend Mike Campbell from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and of course now the Dirty Knobs. And I'm in line here at the Ace of Spades in Sacramento. And I already gave these guys a heads up that we do the Dare Me podcast, and I asked them if they minded if I went live with them in line. So who do we have here? This is Craig?
Freddie.
Oh,
That's Craig.
You're Freddie. This is Craig and Anne-Marie, right? Right on. So, hey, y'all have been big followers of Mike like me for years. So, Freddie, you got this cool-ass picture.
Yes,
Tell
I
us
do.
about this. You're going to get Mike to sign this, right?
June 16th. I was at Oakland, Fox Theater in Oakland, California.
Right. It's when he was doing Mud
I
Crutch.
was the first one in. Yeah, that's for Mud Crutch. And, you know, I took a few pictures with the camera. And
What year was this, bro?
June 18th, was it? 2016.
Oh,
Might have
wow.
been the
So
22nd.
Not too long
Think
before
about the blow on
Tom
the street.
passed, unfortunately,
Yeah,
from an
1 year
opiate
before he
overdose.
passed,
But
exactly.
wow, so you're going to get Mike to sign that. How cool is that? I'm going to
Very
have
cool.
him sign my VIP badge this year. When I met him in Detroit last summer, I had an old Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers concert ticket from Pine Knob for all my Detroit friends that follow
Yes,
me.
you're gonna have him put something
And he
on.
signed that. This year I'm having him sign this. So, Craig, how many times have you seen Mike play, bro?
Tom Petty 3 times.
Right,
So
right.
I've seen Mike play 3 times, and I brought a scratch card off my Les Paul special.
Oh, that's
I'm
cool
going to
as
have
hell.
Mike sign tonight, so super excited about
Well,
that.
hopefully he's got something other than a black Sharpie, because you won't be
Well,
able
I
to
got a
see
white
it.
Sharpie.
Oh, okay,
but,
cool, good, good.
Got a backup for
Thinking
it.
ahead, he's got a silver one.
Now, Anne-Marie, how many times have you, is this your first time?
No,
or-
this will be my second.
Right on, but this
Yeah.
y'all's first time meeting Mike, right?
For
Oh,
sure.
yes, for sure.
And of course, Steve Ferroni been playing drums for him on the West Coast from the Heartbreakers, man. Talk about a legend. Oh my God. Dude's played with like Mick Jagger. I mean, the list goes on. I can't even start name dropping them all. It goes all the way back to the Average White Band days. But man, it's a beautiful night out here in Sacramento. Sunshine, blue skies, but nice cool breeze blowing. We are getting ready for the VIP meet and greet in just a little bit here, and then of course the great show tonight, man. And you know, being that we did the meet and greet, we get to be right up front, man. So I'll try to do some live shit from the show. We're excited. Love y'all. Peace. Bye. All right. Well, hey.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, I hear you now, Dean. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we had a challenge earlier.
That's okay.
Well, I'm actually even hearing you over the monitor now too, so I don't
Okay.
even need the headphones. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, hey, y'all, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for playing that, Dean. So let's just go ahead and go right into the next one. And by the way, shout out to Freddie and Craig and Anne Marie. Oh, man, I got to tell y'all, you get the idea. You know, you could see in that video the type of people that were at that show, man. Just, you know, music lovers like myself. And obviously, not a lot of younger, people there. It was more people, in kind of sort of my age group. But there were younger people there. But Freddie is like the coolest dude, man. Him and I, we've been exchanging messages online and stuff. We're gonna stay in touch. And that guy Craig, man, he's got some land outside of Seattle where he's building an amphitheater of all things, and he's planning on having local artists there and stuff. And so we had talked about staying in touch and maybe going up there or whatever. So yeah, you just never know who you're gonna meet, man, and where you're gonna meet them. But anyway, so the next video, y'all, again, if you follow my social media on Facebook or Instagram, whatever, I posted this, but I thought we'd do it on the show. Let's show this next video because you will see, Mike Campbell and Steve Ferrone doing their meet and greet with some people that came after me. And this is literally like me less than 5 minutes after I got to spend, like I said, over 10 minutes with these guys. And I was really pumped up. So let's go ahead and give that one a try, Dean. Appreciate it.
Just a question: is this
Yeah.
the actual concert footage or the other?
No, that'll be the last one.
Okay.
This is...
Y'all, I'm inside Ace of Spades, and oh my God, my fucking adrenaline. I just spent God, they gave me a lot of time. I was probably like 10 minutes with Mike and Steve Ferrone's here, and the guys, Lance and Jason from the band. But there they are behind me. There's the legendary Mike Campbell, Steve Ferrone on drums tonight, and Lance on bass, and Jason on. There's Mike. He was just looking this way, y'all. Anyway, had to do a bit of a live. There he is. They're continuing on with the meet and greet. And I was actually first. I was first in line, man. And, he was just so cool. For all my Detroit friends, I did tell them, I go, man, Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs got to play Pine Knob. The Knobs at the Knob. He thought that was funny. Got a kick out of it. And, I told him I do all these covers, and I'm working in, Logic and stuff, and that the biggest response I've gotten on any of the covers I put out there are the old Tom Petty tunes, Need to Know, Something Big. He loved that. He made a little joke. He said, hey, that'd be a cool name. I need to know something big. So anyway, we talked for a while, talked to him about the show at the Fillmore. God, I got an autograph from him and Steve on my VIP tag. So anyway, yeah, y'all, there is the legendary Mike Campbell behind me and Steve Ferrone. There he is. He looked up his way. Steve's got his back to us right now, but you get the idea. Anyways, y'all, gonna run. Gotta be right up front for the show. That's some cool people here, man. We're gonna stake our place, and we all agreed to hold down the Alamo if any of us have to use the restroom. And guess what? They sell my favorite NA Heineken Zero beers. Here, I was joking with the bartender. I was like, oh, you don't want me to start fucking drinking. Cheers, y'all. Talk to you later. Peace.
All right, Dean. Well, hey, bro. Thanks for showing that one, man. And hopefully, if you're watching or listening to the show, you got a kick out of that. Like I said, pretty shit quality because those were Facebook Live videos, and I mean, I'm no IT expert, but I don't understand why if you film the video on your phone, record, I should say, it's not filming it, recording it. It's like this high def quality, but if you go Facebook Live, it was shit quality. But anyway, you got the idea. So we have one more video,
Yep.
and this was actually the last song of the concert. He came back for an encore, and this is actually one of my very favorite Tom Petty and the Heartbreaker tunes, very favorite Mike Campbell guitar solos ever. And it's right at the end of the Running Down a Dream, and he's doing this solo, and he steps right to the front of the stage next to us, and then, whew, man, he's got to understand, music's such a powerful thing to me. I'm trying not to fucking get filled up thinking about this, man. He comes and steps and stands right in front of me for the final part of this song, and is just playing the shit out of this guitar, literally like 2 feet away from me. And then what I said is true. He wanted to give me that fucking guitar back because we talked about music, and he knew I covered Tom Petty stuff, and I wasn't gonna be a dick and take it when this girl wanted it. So you'll see what I mean. Watch the video if you can play it, Dean.
Thank you, people, so much. This has really been a very special evening, and I don't say that every night.
All right, let me see the guitar, Peck. Let me see it. Hold it up. Hold it up. Yeah!
Thank you for coming again. Be sure to give them a shake.
All right, so you get the idea, bro. I couldn't take that, as much as I'd like to had it, but anyway, so there's our video.
So you waited
y'all.
outdoors later, tackled her.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, there were a lot of girls there, and there was some rough looking chicks that might have thought about doing that. Dean, I did send you a pic of the song list, and I almost had that too. One of the fucking roadies, had the song list, and this other girl asked if she could have it before I got a chance. And again, I wasn't going to try to, get it, from her. But I did ask her. I said, "Hey, do you mind if I get a quick picture of that?" She said, "Of course not. Go right ahead." So if I don't know if you can find that, but it's the set list that I sent you a picture of. And it just shows all the songs that he played, and it's really a fucking cool. Yeah, there it is. And so you can see he's got and I will tell you, by the way, y'all, if you don't know Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs music, by all means go check him out, especially if you're a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers fan. Because, Mike Campbell, lead guitar player for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers for 40 years. And now he's doing this thing. Their most recent album, External Combustion, is just fucking unbelievable. And then they had an album before that called Reckless Abandon.
Yep.
And you see he's got a song on there called Fuck That Guy, which is funny as hell. It's a sing-along, and, yeah, that's one of the lyrics in it. And then you see he has the first Tom Petty tune he did was Rockin' Around, which I want to do a cover of that. I definitely can cover that one, but yeah, everybody was singing along to that. And, then he does some more, Dirty Knobs stuff. Wicked Mind is probably my favorite Dirty Knobs tune, and then Electric Gypsy. Then he did When the Time Comes, which is a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers tune, and then Refugee, which he does this acoustic version, which I got all filled up during and shit. Fooled Again, which is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and then, of course, he wrapped it up with Running Down a Dream. So Anyway, y'all, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I did talk to him, as I mentioned in that one video about Detroit. I said, bro, you gonna go to the Midwest? Because if you play Detroit, I might have to fly all the way back home to Detroit to go see you again, especially if you play Pine Knob. And I did tell him that, by the way. He thought that was funny as hell. I said, yeah, man, the Dirty Knobs at the Knob. Y'all used to play there when you were with Tom Petty. He remembered, and then he said, yeah, man, what was that other place we played? The Palace. And I said, yeah, they tore that place down. And then Steve Ferrone, he remembered Cobo Arena. And I said, oh, yeah. So, yeah, we had this little Detroit connection thing kind of going on. So, but he did say they're going to be doing some shows out east. So I don't know, if he'll play Detroit or not. We'll see. But, man, I'll tell you, if any of y'all like that kind of music, man, I can't encourage you enough to go see them. Man, they put on a great show. So, anyway, had a blast. There's a few things between Benny's song that's scientifically proven to help with anxiety and anxiousness. Then the whole Pink Floyd thing with my sponsor, Shay Shay. That was so fun. And then the Mike Campbell show. Oh, my God, meeting him and then Steve Ferrone. What a blast, bro. It was a great week as far as that all goes. Now, though, on a sad note from the music world, God, man, I get these feelings, man. Never met the lady in my life, and I'm fucking getting filled up about Tina Turner passed away. And Dean, I sent you a picture. I did a reel when I woke up that day and found out she passed away, because I just loved her ever since I was a little kid, going back to, Rolling on the River and all that stuff, and then, What's Love Got to Do with It? And I found this picture online, and I just thought it was such a cool picture. This drawing of her kind of looking down from, beyond and whatnot. And, man, I had a friend, I would never forget it. If you see this Ginger, shout out to you. Used to dance at a club I played at all the time to that tune, Private Dancer, and just so many memories of Tina Turner music, man. And she truly was a legend, A lot of people, described her as simply the best. And, Mick Jagger, who's, like one of my rock idols, fucking loved her to death, and, did different shows he did with her. Of course, the most famous one was Live Aid and all that. And, so many artists came out of the woodwork just giving props to her. People like Beyonce, and, there wouldn't have been a Beyonce without a Tina Turner, a Whitney Houston, all that. So anyway, yeah, true legend, man. She was really, really something, and her whole story, anyway, R.I.P. to Tina Turner. And, hey, I didn't send you a picture on this one, Dean, but something else I wanted to mention. This was just in Orlando last week. Stevie Nicks did a show down at the arena. Buddy of mine, Steve, was posting live videos, just like I did with the Mike Campbell thing, that I went back and watched, man. And, oh, God, in fact, talking about, Tom Petty, she did that Stop Dragging My Heart Around at the concert, and, all her Fleetwood Mac classics. And, Steve, if you see this, bro, I appreciate you posting them live videos, man. I was watching them, hitting the like button, so... hopefully the people that watch some of the stuff I posted appreciated it too. And kind of feel self-conscious when you're doing all those, like you're bombarding people's feed. Like, God damn it, Glenn, now you're fucking jamming up my feed with all these live videos and shit, I just, how it is, man. You get excited, you go to these concerts and shows, and Steve posted some videos of the Stevie Nicks show, and I appreciated it, man. It kind of gave me a feeling of being there. And, I was on the fence about whether I wanted to go see her or not, 'cause she's like fucking... I think she's almost 80 years old now, or whatever the fuck Stevie Nicks is. Yeah, she's up there. Maybe not. Yeah, I know Tina Turner, I think, was 82. Stevie Nicks in her 70s, put it that way. And I thought, man, do I really want to go see this old girl? But after seeing them videos, hell yeah, she still got the pipes and beautiful, you know. In fact, some people were joking around about this is what it looks like to grow old gracefully. Madonna, hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. You know, everybody been messing with Madonna because she had work done, you know. And, hey, you know, it is what it is, man. I love Madonna, you know, hometown girl from Detroit City, you know, lived in Rochester, which, you know, I used to bop around that area all the time as a younger man. And, yeah, I haven't gotten any tickets yet, but I'm planning on going to see her, you know. She's getting up there now. She ain't going to have the energy to keep doing what she's doing. And, you know, like her, hate her, indifferent, whatever, the fact of the matter is she's a fucking legend. And, you know, I saw her as a younger man for the Who's That Girl tour back in Detroit way long time ago. This was like the late 80s, I think 89 or something. Saw her at an old place called the Pontiac Silverdome. Man, that place ain't even there anymore. But it's been a long time since I saw Madonna. And she developed a bit of a reputation of showing up for her fucking shows late. And when I say late, I mean like an hour or more late. And a lot of people got really rubbed the wrong way and pissed off about that, which I would too, you know. It's like, fuck, man. People got to work the next day or whatever the fuck, you know. But hopefully that don't happen on this tour. And she's doing a shit ton of shows all across the country. I might go see her in San Francisco. I don't think she's playing the Golden Center here in San Fran. But I might even go back and see her in Detroit, you know, or
Madonna
possibly in Florida.
is only 64 years old.
Who, Madonna?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's still pretty young, yeah. And then, did you see how old Stevie Nicks is, Dean? I don't know.
75.
75, yeah. I knew she wasn't quite 80, but I'll tell you what, though, man. Stevie Nicks, she still got the pipes, and she looked beautiful, you know. So, anyway, Steve, thanks for posting them videos. Now, this next one I want to talk about, man, this I'm not happy to share this. But it really rubbed me the wrong way, man, because I always loved this guy, you know. But this article came out this past week. I told y'all this show was going to be mostly all about music. A lot of y'all remember Johnny Cougar, John Mellencamp now he goes by. It was weird. First he was John Cougar, then he was John Cougar Mellencamp, now he goes by John Mellencamp. It'll always be John Cougar to me. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Hurt So Good, and then he did that, you know, Cherry Bomb, Paper and Fire, you know, all that, and, you know, did the Farm Aid thing and everything. People love John Cougar. I saw a lot of cool interviews with the guy, man. He just seemed like a great guy. I remember seeing him on Letterman. He brought his granddaughter out and all that. Just seemed like a really cool guy, like to give back and all that. Well, I don't know, man, but something has gone seriously wrong with our boy John Cougar. He was doing a show in Cleveland this past week, and this made headlines in all kinds of publications and articles, where he blew a fucking fuse and told the fans to shut the fuck up or he'll end his show. Yeah, there he is going off on the crowd in Cleveland. Now, if you zoom back out for a second, Dean, in the article, it says here that he was playing at this place called the Playhouse Square, which is more like a theater rather than like a big arena. And it does say in here that, you know, I'm trying to find it. I'm looking for it. It's in there somewhere. Oh, yeah, it says the show respects theater etiquette. Now, if you've been to a theater, a play, a theater, yeah, it's a little more, you know, laid back than going to a rock and roll concert. Yeah, you know, and, you know, people tend not to interrupt, and they don't like you getting up and down in between intermissions and all that shit. Well, apparently he took that shit to heart. And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, I don't give a fuck if you're playing in a theater or not, bro. This is fucking John Cougar or John Mellencamp rock and roll. People are going to fucking get loud and scream, and he's telling people shut the fuck up. And he's saying that, what's it say at the very end? It says, let it be known early in his set that I don't like people screaming from the fucking audience. That's what he says. What? How can you be a rock and roll star and not like people from the audience screaming? And we didn't even post the whole article, but there were some people, I guess, shouting, hey, fuck you, man. Just shut up and play the fucking music. You know, we paid however much we paid for our ticket to be here. It's kind of like that whole shut up and dribble thing everybody says with LeBron and everything. That's kind of how people, you know, in Cleveland, think about it, man. Cleveland rocks, you know. You talk about Detroit and Chicago, cities like that. That's how it is in Cleveland. So, fucking, come on, Mellencamp, what the fuck, man? You know, what, you think you're some theater guy now and people can't fucking shout out, you know, at your rock and roll concert and got to be quiet? Fuck you. Fuck you. You're telling us fuck off. I say fuck you, John Mellencamp. I ain't going to your fucking show. I was thinking about going to see the guy. I seriously was, Dean. He's playing some shows out here. Fuck that. I ain't going now, you know. He ain't getting my money, you know. I hate to sound like I'm being a dick and judging him, but I'll just listen to his shit on the fucking free stream, by the way, you know. Yeah. But anyway, God bless him. I don't mean to sound like a dick, y'all, you know. Like I say on this show all the time, I try to love everybody, and obviously something has gone wrong up here. If he's telling his fucking own fans and crowd to shut the fuck up or he's leaving his show, what the hell is that all about, you know? So hopefully, man, I think he needs to listen to that Benny tune, Bagels, to kind of settle him down a little bit, man. But yeah, that happened this past week in the music world. So hopefully John Mellencamp mellows out a little bit. Anyways, so that I thought was a good transition, y'all. We're getting near the end of the show. A good transition into I promoted our funny memes. Which, by the way, bro, did you see the reel I did today, Dean? Or I did it last night promoting today's show. I did a reel. And I used that heavy, Heavy D, is it? Song, How You Like Me Now. And I don't know, man, these fucking ideas just come to me from out of the fucking blue. And I've said on this show before that, you know, in addition, you know, to hoping we get to anybody struggling with an opiate or other drug addiction, that I also hope maybe we get to some people from the professional world who I believe sometimes it may be a little bit harder for to come out, you know, to come out of the closet, as they say, about an addiction. You know, because people have reputations and egos and quite frankly, real legit concerns about their livelihood and their careers and reputation. When you work in corporate America and you work for a multi-million-dollar company and maybe you're in a high-level position like I was, you know, as a director or CEO or a news media person, an anchor, a reporter, whatever the case may be, man, it takes fucking balls to come forward and acknowledge you have a problem with drugs or booze or an addiction, you know what I mean? And so, anyway, the reason I mention that is because I just kind of got this idea. I did this reel. And as you know, Dean, and some of our listeners and viewers from Central Florida, you know, I was on television for a long time. Dean, you and I did that food show for, God, 7 fucking years. And then I was a traffic reporter, y'all. I worked for Metro Traffic Control for over 20 years in this company, Traffic Pulse. And anyway, there's a television station in Orlando, the CBS affiliate there, and I was the morning traffic reporter for a couple of years on camera and shit. And so I screenshotted a couple photos from some stuff I was doing there. And then, as you know, Dean, I was a PR guy with this multi-million-dollar, you know, real conservative company in Orlando, and I just got to meet so many high-ranking, like, law enforcement officials, politicians, newspaper reporters, news anchors. And so I had this collage photo where I was with, like, Sheriff Demings, the sheriff from Seminole County, what the hell was his name? Congressman Micah, you know, from the U.S. Congress. You know, this reporter from the Sentinel, Jim from Channel 2. And so I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to make a reel showing this whole side of me, you know, this whole professional life, corporate media guy, Glenn, and then all of a sudden I transition into me doing this, you know. And so my hope was that it might be, you know, an eye catcher or maybe even an incentive for somebody who's from that side of the world that may be struggling with an opiate or other drug addiction, to say, wow, you know, if fucking Glenn was able to find it in him somehow to get past all that ego, that self-consciousness, that, you know, worried about my reputation in the professional world bullshit, to just come out and put it all out there that, yeah, man, I developed a bad addiction and this is what I'm trying to do now, not just to help others, but to help myself in the process too. Believe me, doing this show is very therapeutic and helpful for me too, y'all. Yeah, my sincere hope is that we might help someone else by doing it. I also will say, hey, man, it's a certain amount of accountability for me, too, you know. I got to stay busy doing shit, you know. The idle mind is the devil's workshop, and I can assure you, doing this bugging program, I have very little idle time. I can barely keep up with what I'm doing. I'm not even keeping up with it at the level I want to, you know. So anyway, if you get a chance, Dean, if you haven't seen it, or anybody else, go back and check out that reel I did yesterday promoting today's show. I thought, you know, it's kind of fun doing those sometimes, you know. You can get creative and try to match the photos to the lyrics or whatever music you might pick and all that. And I got some really good feedback already on that one. It was kind of fun. So anyway, let me go back to where I was. We're going to do a bunch of funny memes, and then we'll wrap the show up. And I was talking about how John Mellencamp got so pissed off. Well, I thought it was a good transition into this first meme and pick. I called it, Dean, the angry hippies pick. You showed it to me earlier before we went on the air today, and I was joking about it. Yeah, I follow all these different groups on social media. Dean, if you could move that strip of pictures yeah, there you go. So somebody posted this on this website. What's it called? Is it Happy Hippies or
Yeah.
At the top of it? Yeah, you zoomed out or zoomed in now. I can't see it. I forget the name. Yeah, Happy Hippies. It's a group on Facebook. And you can see that's a picture of Robert Plant, obviously, from Led Zeppelin. And I screenshotted it, and it had a person's name, but I didn't want to put them on blast and be mean to the person that posted it because their name was on it. So I just whited it out. But they made this meme, and you see it says, you know why your generation is so angry? Because your music sucks. And I thought to myself, who's fucking angry? Okay? I thought your site was called Happy Hippies. And it's like there's that old saying, you spot it, you got it, okay? You point a finger at somebody, remember, there's always three pointing right back at you. And these are the kind of people that just kill me. It's like, dude, you're fucking stuck in the goddamn 60s and the 70s. Why you got to lash out at these young, new artists? Well, your music today sucks. You know, all these mumble rappers and auto-tune and Milli Vanilli shit, which Milli Vanilli's like fucking 30 years ago, but they're still stuck on that shit. And it's like, I don't get it, man. It's like, who's really the angry? I didn't know the current generation was that angry. I kind of think they're one of the most liberal generations there is, quite frankly. You know, all-inclusive and love everybody and all that shit. Who's the angry one here? You're the fucking angry one, lashing out at this new music, telling all these young creatives that their music sucks, instead of being supportive of them and encouraging them. Like these young guys I was talking about at the Future of Artists Summit, and what Kasky and Anonymous and all them guys are doing, and my boy Shebang and that kid Brendan, man, these kids are all young guys, 20 in their early 20s. They're working on expressing their creativity, evolving, making new creative music and stuff, and some fucking asshole from the 60s and 70s stuck on Led Zeppelin, who I love, by the way, is going to call them, out and say your music sucks. Well, but goddamn, first of all, shame on you. And quite frankly, I feel sorry for you if that's you. I love Led Zeppelin. I said earlier, I love the Stones. If I had to pick any music that I like the best, it's the Stones. I love all that. I always used to say, okay, there's the Beatles, there's the Stones, there's Zeppelin, Who, and the Floyd, and Pink Floyd. Everybody else comes after that, okay? Everybody else comes after that. And quite frankly, I still kind of feel that way, okay? But that doesn't mean I hate modern music. Like, for example, I just posted not long ago, I went to that show Greta Van Fleet, which a lot of people say was kind of like a Zeppelin cover band, but they've developed their own style. They're filling fucking arenas around the country, keeping this Zeppelin-type kind of music alive. And then you get assholes like this who say, oh, they're just fucking copycatting Zeppelin. So what the fuck is it, bro? Okay, first of all, today's music either sucks or you like it because they're influenced by a group like Led Zeppelin. Oh, God, I get fired up about this kind of shit, y'all. You see how I'm getting fired up about it? It's like, okay, you're supposed to be the happy hippies group, but you fucking lash out at these young artists and tell them their music sucks. Be a little more open-minded, man. Quit cheating yourself. Give it a chance. Listen to it, you know. I don't know, man. Maybe I get a little carried away on it because I have such eclectic taste in music, you know. I love everything, and it just frustrates me to no end when I see things like this where, you know, some of these guys from my age group and girls, because by the way, this was a female that created this meme and posted it, an older female in my age group. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? Who's the angry one here? You know, quit cheating yourself and quit discouraging these young artists by telling them their music sucks. Yeah, it ain't all great, but neither was all the music back in them days either. There was a lot of shit back then that sucked. One-hit wonders, copycats, all that other shit. You know, help encourage the young artists and embrace them and listen to it. You might be surprised. You might just like some of that stuff. So anyway, that's my little rant about that. So, okay, Dean. Well, next, man, I just had all these funny memes, you know. I am active on social media, y'all, because promoting the podcast, it's like out of control. You know, got the Facebook, the Instagram, the 2 YouTubes, the LinkedIn, the Twitter, the TikTok, you know, and I just think it's fucking cool as hell. Okay, now that was one actually from last week. You're dipping back to last week here, Dean, but I thought this was hilarious. Because any of us that have dogs, and by the way, I used to have a Pomeranian, Shady. I just thought these fucking memes make me laugh, you know. And again, going back to the purpose of this show, y'all, we're trying to help people get through drug addictions, opiate addictions. So you may be thinking, what the fuck does this have to do with that? Well, you know what? You got to laugh a little, man. You know, laugh at yourself. You're dope sick as hell right now. You got the cold sweats. You're fucking arm and leg restless syndrome crawling out of your chest. You know what? You laugh a little bit, it gets the endorphins flowing, takes the edge off, makes you feel a little better. So that's, again, one of our hopes with this show is that we might be helping you kill a little time if you're dope sick. And so some of these memes, we'll kind of make this a semi-regular part of the show. We'll just show maybe 5 to 10 funny memes each week. So anyway, I thought this one was funny, man. If you've ever lived in a community where there's an HOA, they're like the fucking Gestapo sometimes. I thought this dog, he's cleaning up shit, saying, I better clean up this fucking Palm's mess before they think it's me. So, okay, let's see. What was the next one, Dean? Had a DTE photo. Let's see. Yeah. Well, put it this way. You can just start showing them. Yeah, there you go. I thought this was a good one to kind of start it with. DTE, by the way, is the place in Detroit that I referred to as Pine Knob. It used to be called the DTE. It was Pine Knob originally. Then they got a sponsor, DTE Energy, for a few years or several years. But now last year they brought the name Pine Knob back again. But the point I'm making is I thought this was a funny meme somebody posted. When you pregame too hard for DTE concerts. And man, when I was using there were a lot of shows, unfortunately, I went to where I went at it way too hard and tailgating before the concert out in the parking lot. And yeah, that's my memory of the show, being so fucked up that I couldn't even remember it. So not really something to laugh at, but it did kind of make me chuckle a little bit like, oh God, I've fucking been there, man. How many fucking concerts have you been to where you got a little too fucked up? And the room was spinning during the whole fucking concert, and you didn't even get to enjoy the show. So I thought that one was kind of funny, the show. Okay, the next one, yeah, this is interesting. Some of y'all might think this is sick. This is from that offensive recovery memes Facebook page we talked about last week. The ultimate teleportation device. Those are bars, by the way, Xanax, and they call them bars. So you see the top picture, he's got his eyes wide open and a handful of bars, and in the middle picture, them fucking things will make you black out in a fucking heartbeat, and then you wake up and you're behind real bars because there ain't no telling what you'll do when you black out in them fucking Xanax, man. God damn, I've showed those before and after pictures of me where I had the shit beat out of me or whatever the hell. I don't even know what happened to me. That's what happened, man. Them fucking, there was more than Xanax going on, but those were definitely part of it. Okay, and then I had this chips and salsa picture. I thought this was kind of funny. Having to do with addiction, you never know how little self-control you have until the chips and salsa show up. Yeah, that's true, man. You go to a Mexican restaurant and they bring out that chips and salsa for you to chow on, and you got a few people at the table. It's like, God damn, man, everybody reaching. I always have to tell the person, really? You think this one little fucking dish of salsa is going to fucking last with 4 people sitting here? You need to bring like at least 5 more of these. We all got to have our own, man. What the fuck? So anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. All right, let's go on to the next one, man. This one I thought was funny. When people ask me what my drug of choice was, and again, Dean, yeah, there you go. He says, you guys only chose one? And so, he's that kid from that, what was that movie with Jennifer Aniston? And I think it was, oh, God, what the fuck, not Ben Affleck, but the other guy.
We're the Millers.
Yeah, with the Millers, yep. But anyway, a little 12-step humor there. You go to meetings sometimes and people ask you, what's your DOC? And that stands for drug of choice. And so this guy's saying, what, you guys only had one? And I could relate to that, man. It's like, yeah, I focus this show kind of sort of on the opiate addiction, but boy, did I have my struggles with them all, going back to the coke stuff in the 80s and the booze and everything else. So, yeah, a little 12-step humor, as it says there. Okay, this next one I just think is funny as hell. It's the Bernstein Bears, and somebody created this fucking meme, are high as fuck, and it says first time books, and you see them all got the munchies and they're chowing down. It's like, I just wonder what's going on in some people's minds when they create stuff like this. So I thought that one was funny as hell. Okay, next one, I sent this to one of my buddies this past week. A crackhead just tried to sell me a microwave with no cord, talking about its Bluetooth. If you've ever run into a crackhead trying to fucking bum money off you or sell you some shit outside at 7-Eleven or wherever the fuck, then you know why this is funny. So I just thought that was a good one. The next one thought was funny as well. And anybody who knows me knows for a fact that I am about as far from being prejudiced or racist as anybody could ever get. I lived that shit, y'all, and I always swore I would never, ever, ever be like that because it happened to me. I will say I thought this was funny. And so nothing against all my Oriental friends, but it says, do Chinese people have crackheads? I've never seen a Chinese crackhead. And if you think about it, man, I've been around fucking NAAA fucking half my goddamn life. I don't think I ever have seen a Chinese crackhead. So I just thought that was kind of funny, man. Let's go on to the next one, Dean. We're rolling through these, y'all. We're almost done. And Whoops, you just passed. Yeah, I thought this, my buddy Guy posted this one, and this was definitely me. It says, and surprise, surprise, with me running my mouth with y'all for the last 2 hours, shout out to everyone who had report cards growing up that read, talks too much. That would be me, y'all. And then that was good. And then the next one kind of ties right into this. It says, y'all ever just wanted to tell somebody mid-conversation, hey, I don't give a fuck. I'm sure that's probably happened on this show many times, and certainly I've had conversations with people where, man, I know what they're going to say before they even fucking say it. It's almost like you're going to pull the words out of their mouth, and you're so busy or you're rushed, and you just want to stop a mid-conversation. Hey, man, I don't give a fuck. So that made me laugh. That was a good one. I screenshotted that. Let's go to the next one, Dean. And then that kind of ties into those. And we're getting close, y'all. I'm going to wrap it the fuck up as it says. You said, long story short, 10 seconds ago. Seriously, wrap it the fuck up, you know. And that's a meme I got off a recovery site, because a lot of times you go to 12-step meetings and people share and they go on and on and on and on and on. And people will say, okay, y'all, I'm going to wrap it up. And long story short, and then they go for another fucking 5-10 minutes. It's like you can tell everybody's just sitting there going, would you fucking wrap it up? Kind of like how some of y'all are probably thinking with me on this show today. Okay, Glenn, wrap it the fuck up. So we're getting there, y'all. But I got to show this next one. And we talked about this on the show last week, Dean. And I was going to show it, but we ran out of time. I got to send a shout out to my niece, Jessica, who's down in Orlando, by the way, right now. And she posted this a couple of weeks ago, and it literally made me spit my water out. I started laughing so much. Apparently, this comes up in her memories every year, and she reposted, but I had never seen it before. And it says, you know, here's a clean-cut all-American guy with a shirt and tie on. He says, kick me out of church because I yelled, fuck the devil. I thought we hated this motherfucker. I just thought it was hilarious, y'all. I don't mind saying, you know, I have been to some of these street corner churches you see, like in the hood, in Detroit, Chicago, different places, you know. People open up these pop-up neighborhood churches on the corner, and I've popped in just out of curiosity and sat there and watched some of these revivals, hear some amazing music and singers sometimes and all that, but those are the kind of places, if you were going to see this, you probably would. I ain't never seen no shit like this, but I just thought that was funny as hell. I could just see it at a revival. Somebody gets so moved by the spirit, they stand up and yell, fuck the devil, and they say, hey man, you can't say that in here, get the fuck out of here. You know, and he'd be like, I thought we hated that motherfucker. So anyway, I just thought that was funny, y'all. And then I was going through some things this week, and I came across this last picture, and I thought it'd be a good way to wrap it up, and thought maybe y'all might get a kick out of it. This is the FBI pic, Dean. I actually had this pic taken in Old Town. I was there with my daughter and my son a couple of years ago, and we did one of those old-time photos where you know, put on the costumes and they take your picture and all that stuff. And there was, yeah, there it is right there. There was one. And again, if you can, wanted by the FBI, $25,000 reward. There's your old pal Glenn Victor with my Tommy gun and my pistol. So, don't tell anybody, I'm wanted by the FBI, $25K reward. But anyway, I thought that was a funny picture, y'all. So that about does it for this week's edition of the show. Once again, if you stuck with us, God, I see we've had a couple viewers been with us the whole way. You know, we didn't have a whole lot of interaction, like I said out of the gate, Dean. I didn't think we would get a lot because it is a holiday weekend. I was on the fence about doing the show this week. I thought we might take a week off with being the holiday, but I thought, what the hell, we'll go ahead and do it. And, like I said, most people that watch and listen to our show, we can see in the analytics, is the recorded version. So we now have episode 11 in the can, and we'll get it posted soon. I'm a little behind on posting some of these on the Dear Me YouTube channel. I'm really planning on getting busy on that, y'all. I keep talking about it. I will. Gonna get busy on it this week. So if you did tune in today, thank you for following along. And again, if you come across the recorded version, we hope we entertained you. And of course, if you are struggling with an opiate addiction or any addiction for that matter, hope we help fill some time for you, kill a couple hours while you're going through withdrawals, laying in bed, sweating like hell, the cold sweats. I get it, man. I get it. Been there, done that, bought the fucking t-shirt. It sucks. Your restless leg and arm syndrome flapping in the wind. You feel like you got that hamster wheel running in your cage like you're crawling out of your skin. You're shitting, you're puking. You can't sleep, you can't eat. It's horrible going through opiate withdrawals. Worst thing I've ever been through in my life. Guess what, y'all? I got over 2 years clean off them fucking things now. So if you're looking for a way out, you can fucking do it, As we've said on this show many times, one of my favorite sayings, you're going through hell, keep fucking going. I promise you, you will come out the other side of it. When you're in the middle of it and you're going through them withdrawals, there's them moments where you just feel like you just can't make it another fucking moment. Just go another minute and that feeling will pass and you'll get another minute, another, another. And before you know it, hours go by, days go by, weeks go by. And now look at me with a couple of years clean off of opiates. And the way my mindset is right now, bro, I'll never fucking touch them things again as long as I live. I will literally have to be on my deathbed in such excruciating pain that I just couldn't take it anymore before I'd ever put another fucking opiate in this body. And I ain't going after people on pain meds after I've said many times on this show, if you're legitimately taking them for a legit condition, you're taking them as prescribed and they're working for you, hey, do you. I'm not criticizing, not judging, not coming after you. If you are hooked on them and you want to get off of them and you're looking for a way out, I promise you, you can do it. Go back, watch some of our previous shows. We talk about a lot of practical ideas and solutions, talk about kratom, Suboxone, methadone, 12-step meetings, all kinds of interesting stuff, I think, and more to come as we keep moving forward with this show. So today, like I said, y'all, we kind of had to focus a lot on music, It's been a godsend for me, an escape for me. And when I was going through the withdrawals, God, it was such a haven for me, It was a place I could go and just get out of my own head, because that's part of it. You're not just going through the physical withdrawals, you're going through that mental mind fuck that you go through when you're going through opiate withdrawals. So if that's something that you can relate to, you're watching or listening to this show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Been there, done that. And my hope is that, anything we do on this show and talk about might be an inspiration to help you stay alive even one day longer. Just keep fighting, man. Like I say on this show at the end, to wrap it all up, y'all. If you're fighting a good fight, just keep fighting a good fight. I promise you, if I can do it, you can do it. And you will come out the other side. And there's lots of other things that are coming up on this show in future editions we're going to talk about that'll be helpful. So anyway, with all that said, again, I feel weird saying happy Memorial Day because it's a day where we remember our fallen military heroes, but y'all know what I mean. I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. I've always kind of thought of Memorial Day as the official beginning of summer, so that is reason to celebrate. Have you always thought of it that way too, Dean? The official beginning of summer, Memorial Day?
Well, it's the gateway to June.
Yeah.
School's out or
Yeah.
about to be out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
See, I'm not the only one. And then, of course, when Labor Day rolls around in September, I usually think of that as the end of summer, So we're just getting started, and looking forward to a great summer. So, Dean, thank you so much for everything you did on the show today. I know I sent you a lot of stuff, and I think we got every single thing in that I sent you, believe it or not, too. So big props to you, bro. And anything you want to add before we wrap up, man?
Let's be safe out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, y'all, that'll do it for now. We'll be back again next week. And, hey, hoping to have some cool guests coming up again soon, some of whom I talked about on the show today. And believe me, I'll be working hard off the air and behind the scenes to get some of those guests lined up. And in the meantime, have a great week, y'all. Be safe, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for tuning in to the Dare Me podcast.